Good morning everyone, it's Kathy Champion and you're back with me in my craft room. And if you notice, it is a brand new YouTube channel. So if you are watching this, and maybe some of our crafty friends that we chat among ourselves from time to time have not come over and check this out, this is going to be my Stamping Up channel. So I'm going to keep my random acts of crafting for now, and I am building this new channel called Random Acts of Stampin', and this is going to be everything Stamping Up. So if you are a fan of Stamping Up, or if you just want to come in to get really good ideas for card making, everyone's welcome. You do not have to be a customer. I would appreciate it if you don't have a demonstrator to contact me, and I'll have all my contact information in the description. Also, if anytime that you see the host code for August, when you place an order, if you would use that host code, that would help me out tremendously. Also, if you place a order of $50 or more, I will send you a pack of gems. They will be a pack of Stamping Up, and they will be current from this year's catalog. So that is a little incentive for you to be able to try out some of the products, and also get a little incentive by placing an order with me. So your business is very appreciated. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to the card we're going to make today. We all struggle with masculine cards, and I ran across this on Pinterest, and I thought, how pretty would this be? Now, you know, anytime you run across something on Pinterest, you have to pretty much make it yours, and that's exactly what I did. But one thing that I did do is I made the template, and I kind of had to eyeball this because there was no specific directions. It was just something I saw that I fell in love with. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a template out of this piece. So I'm going to move my designer paper and my beautiful colored paper out of the way for just a moment. And this piece measures 4 inches by 5.5. It's a little bit over 5.5, but you know what? We're going to trim it, because I do need my piece to be exactly at 5.5. So let's just put that in there right on the 5.5. Yeah, see, it's over just a tiny little hair. What is that, like a 1/16 of an inch? Very minute piece. But now we have our template piece, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go on. So what we're going to do in order to build our template, the first thing we want to do is find the center bottom. And if you have a Tim Holtz ruler, I'm going to show you how to use this 0. You put the 0 where you think the middle is, and then line up to where you have the same amount. This one's really easy because it's 4 inches, so you know if you've got 2 inches on this side, 2 inches on that side, you've got the center. So if you don't know what the center is, just line it up until you get right where you need to be. Now if you don't have this ruler, measure in 2 inches and make a tick mark. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down to the very bottom of it, and I'm just going to put a tick mark right there at the bottom. Then I'm going to measure up from that, and staying nice and straight. I'm going to put the dot on my 2-inch mark, and I'm going to make another tick mark 2 inches. I'm sorry, that's 1 inch. I just about messed up. Alright, again, put it right on the mark there, your first little tick mark. Measure up 1 inch and make a tick. Okay, so you have this one. I'm going to make this one a little bit more prominent so you can see it. So if you put your 0 back on here, right on that one, you should have 2 inches on each side. And we're off just a little bit, but that's okay. That's the great thing about paper crafting. You can always fix it until you cut it. So measure twice, cut once. That is a true cliche. Alright, so I'm just going to make that a little bit more prominent so I can see which one it is. Alright, so now we want to measure up 2 inches on the left top. So I am going to, this is my left top, so I'm going to find my 2 inches, and I'm going to put the 2 inches top left, and I'm going to put a tick mark right here, and then you're going to turn it, and the right bottom, you're going to measure up 2 inches. I think I got this one wrong. I think I did them backwards. Yeah, this one's going to be 1.5. I'm making boo-boos, but that's okay. You can always fix them. Okay, this is going to be 1.5. So let's turn it back around. And what I like to do is put the edge of my card where I need it. Just like that. And now down here, on the right side, we're going to do 2 inches. So again, I'm going to put the 2-inch mark at the bottom of my card, and I'm going to do a tick mark right here. Now if you look at these, you're going to see you have a point here, a point here, and a point here. What we want to do is just cut those away. Now if you want to use your scissors, you can. If you want to draw a line, you can. I'm going to draw a line so that you can see where I'm cutting from here to here, and then from there just like that. Now that gives you the ability to see exactly where you need to cut those lines. Now we can easily put this in the trimmer and slice it, or we can just slice it with our scissors. It's totally up to you. I'm going to use the scissors, and then I'm going to come back and shape it with my trimmer. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's just cut this away right down to that point. Then we're going to come from this side and cut to that point. And this piece right here will be your template, and it works so great. So let's put it in the trimmer and make sure we got, and all we're going to do now is cut away the lines, the pencil lines. So I'm just going to put this in like this. See, that's just a very small sliver that we trimmed off. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're just going to line it up in the trimmer just enough to get that pencil mark off. Do you see that little tiny piece went right down into my trimmer? That's okay, we can. You push it all the way up to the top, it will come out. And there we go. Alright, so this is our template, and if you want to see what it looks like, what I did is I made me a mock one with leaving the lines and everything on, or you can do this, which this works too. You can save a piece like this for your template and put 1 inch up, and this was 1.5. No, this was 2, and this was 1.5 from the top to bottom, and 1.5 top. Once you get this piece made, you can mark it a template, and you can save it and have this for mini cards to come. And this is the piece that we cut away. As you can see, This fits perfectly together. Okay, so we have our template ready. We really don't need anything else because now we are going to lay this in our trimmer. This is a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. And I'll tell you what, we're going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to lay this down on here. Let me move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Now this is the back side. I plan on using this side, so I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to trace my piece from this side. With this being a plaid, I don't think we're going to need to worry about the direction of which way it's going because we're just going to use this one piece on our card. So let's go up to there, go down to here, and this other side is pretty well done. Now you probably can't see my pencil marks, but I can. Barely, but I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rough cut with my scissors, and I can see my line here. I'm going to do the same thing with this, and we'll clean it up in my trimmer after I get it cut. Because I don't cut really good and straight either, and I know a lot of you struggle with that. Okay, there is the piece that we're going to use. So now I am going to put this in my trimmer. And I just want to clean up a little bit where those pencil marks were. So again, it's just going to be a minute little piece. Then we're going to turn it this way and do the same thing. And there we go. That piece is ready. So now I'm going to bring out my card base, and I measured this at 11 by 4. And the reason I did it that size, we could have went 4 1/4 and had a border, but I wanted this piece to cover this card from side to side and from top to bottom, just like that. Oops, wrong side. Like this. Just like that. This is very pretty. I love it on this crushed curry. I think it makes a mighty fun statement. But we're going to cut another piece out of this, and I'm going to use my template again. So I am going to take, let's see, this is the one we were using. Now what I want to do with this is I want to cut it just a tiny bit bigger . Here and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it sit there just like that. Let's turn it where I can get a good angle. I'm going to take my ruler because I want 1/4 inch to hang off. So I'm going to measure it using the grid lines on this Tim Holtz ruler. Cannot sing the praises enough about this ruler because it's awesome. Okay, that's 1/4 inch, so I'm going to trace this right to there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to go that 1/4 inch just like that. And then we're going to cut this side up even. If you get your piece off the least little bit, just move it back. And then this is how we're going to cut this piece, because I want it to hang over just a little bit. So again, I'm going to cut on the outside of the line. And I'm going to do a trial run on it to make sure that this is what I want. And see, this will fit perfectly under there, and this will give you that nice little border underneath. That also picks up that Highland heather in there. So now let's go ahead and take this back to the trimmer. I know this sounds really tedious to do all of this trimming and cutting, but the making of your template is so important. And cleaning up your card is very important too, because this is what gives you a really nice professional looking card when it's nice and clean. It doesn't matter that you get every pencil mark off, but right here on the peaks where it's going to show, you definitely want those marks to be gone. So now all you have to do is put this piece on this piece, and you have that perfect little border at the bottom. And we're going to glue this down in just a minute. Looks like I need to trim it just a little bit. And don't be afraid, because this is the nature of this type of project. There, that looks neater. And let's check this side, make sure. Alright, I think that looks really good. So we would glue these two together and then glue it onto our card base like that. Isn't that pretty? So we're going to put that together, but before we start gluing everything together, let's get all of our elements taken care of. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do some stamping. Now I have the dies for this as well, and I think I want to use this little branch. Let's see if it's too big. We can always trim it back. I definitely want that, and I want one of these little birds. this is where I like to play with my dies and things and to see exactly what do I want there. That would be so cute. I might do that instead of this. I chose these two little stamps for my bird, and I'm going to try something. I want to try stamping him in Early Espresso and then coming back with a blue or a yellow. I'm going to grab a scrap of white, and I am going to do a little stamping. Okay, what I'm going to do is I chose two inks. One is Early Espresso and Crushed Curry, and we're going to stamp our bird. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this ink. This is the Early Espresso, and we're going to ink up this part of him. That's going to be rather dark, isn't it? I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to put him right about here. And then we're going to get another block, and we're going to go in with the Crushed Curry and see how our bird looks. I'm not sure that I'm going to like it with these colors, but we'll see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my bird and also cut this, and I might even pull this out and cut it out. So I think we need some little feet on him. So yeah, we're going to do some feet on him, and then we'll go from there. And I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and what I decided to do is I cut the circle out using the dies from this particular stamp set, Birds and Branches, and the dies are called Birds and More. And I use this. This cuts it into the card, but I wanted it to cut out, so I went in and grabbed my the basics circle dies, and I found one that would fit over it that had the scalloped edge, and then I just cut the whole thing out, and that worked perfectly. So I also, after I stamped this bird and cut him, he kind of gets lost on the card, and I thought, how nice would it be to have a beautiful, colorful, and I used the Highland Heather. I used both my light and dark to color him, and I did his feet with the cinnamon cider, and I did his beak with melon mambo. And I think he turned out really cute, and we're going to nestle him down in this little flowers or this little greenery, something like that. Maybe we'll get his feet where they look like they're hooked in, and we will glue him down just like that, and I think that's going to make a nice statement on this card. Something like this, and then we're going to put a sentiment down at the bottom. So let's see what else we can come up with. We didn't have to use the feet because we didn't use this bird. I'm going to save him because he may come in real handy on a different card, but just not this one. And I'm going to go ahead and put my birds back on my stamp sheet so that I don't lose them. I'm in the wrong place. This one goes right here. Then my solid one goes right here. I love the two-step stamps. They make everything so easy as far as coloring and things like that. You can color with your ink without having to color, so that's always very special. Okay, so now I need to decide let's go ahead and start putting the card together. The first thing I want to do is I want to glue this piece down, but if you notice I got just a tiny bit hanging over. I'll just nip that off. That could have been because it was not glued yet. Don't be afraid to adjust your side pieces. You want them to look nice and even. So I'm going to just get some regular, I'll tell you what, let's use our Stampin' Seal. This works really good for cards. And I think I'm going to put it on this piece. If you notice what I'm doing, I'm making sure I'm getting it around these edges because I want to make sure that all of my edges are secure. So now we're good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it right up to the top of this, just like that. And I am going to bring it down. Oops. And this stuff is strong. It really catches. So maybe we'll do it here. Very good. I think I got that on there perfectly. Looks like I got a little bit showing right there, but no big deal because we have scissors and we know how to use them. We'll just nip that off just like that. Don't be afraid. It's just paper. Now we're ready to put this on our card. And the little bit that I snipped off is going to give us an opportunity to show that border around the edge, which is great. I think I might take just a hair more off of this side. Now we can put this down just like this. And I'm going to use my snail for that too. Or I'm sorry, Stampin' Seal. Again, make sure you got the top of your card so that when you sit this down, it is going to be perfect. Isn't that pretty? So now the next thing we're going to do, and we're going to probably use some liquid glue on this. And I'm just going to use some of the liquid Tombow. I'm going to shake it up. This has been sitting for a little bit. So, and on the back, we are just going to do some little dots of glue. You don't want to go crazy, but you do want this to adhere down. If you use a very easy light hand, you can get this glue everywhere you need it. You don't have to squeeze a whole lot. I think we're ready to put this down. So I just want the peak of my card to show under there. And then I'm going to put it down just like that. And I am going to grab a wipe. Just dab it down like that. The glue will dry clear and you will not see that. So now we want to decide how we want to put our little bird on there. And I am thinking he would be so cute on a pop dot. Let's see if we can find some dimensions that are we have some minis. So let's try the mini dimensionals. And let's see if we can get some where we can pop him up just a hair. Yep, I think the minis are going to work. We don't need a whole lot to hold him, so I'm just going to use 3. And he can sit in there just like that. Now the next thing we need to do is do a sentiment. So pretty. We're going to need a white piece inside that measures 3 3/4. Let's see, by 5 1/4. So we'll bring this at, let's see, let's cut off 5 1/4 first. And then we'll cut it down to 3 3/4. And this will be our mat for the inside. Let's see how that's going to look. Perfect. Now we want to put a banner or something right across here. And I'm going to show you all how I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut this down to about 3 inches. Let's go 3 1/2. We can always cut it down some more. I think 3 1/2 would be pretty. We need to decide if we want this to be a birthday card or a thinking of you card, or just what kind of card do we want this to be. But what I want to do, I'm going to show you the perfect way to do a ribbon tail. Now on this one I think I'm just going to do one end. So when I do one end, I usually want it to go in a little further. So I'm going to lay this here on my grid paper. And I'm going to measure up a 1/2 inch, so that would be 2 of these blocks. And you can do this with your ruler as well. And I am going to make a dot in the middle, just like that. And now all I'm going to do is cut to that dot, and then I'm going to cut from the very corner up to that dot, and then on the other side from that corner up to that dot. And this will give you a perfect banner every time. do think I want to take a little bit more off of this. I think I want that right there. Let me grab a stamp set with a perfect sentiment and I'll be right back. Okay everybody, I'm back and I grabbed the stamp set that is titled Here's a Card. This is full of sentiments, a lot of thank yous. I made a card for you because you're worth it. Words can express the deep sorrow, so it's got a little bit of everything on here. Thank you for being my friend. I'm here if you need me. I can't begin to count all the times we've laughed together, mostly because numbers are hard. I think that's so cute. Hello there. Hello there would be really cute on the front of this, but I decided I'm going to make it a happy birthday card. So I love the font on this happy birthday. So I am going to get that positioned where I want it. I'm going to grab this stamp block and pick it up. And I am going to ink up. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do a color? I think I'm just going to do black. And I'm using, this is not a Stampin' Up! Ink. This is a VersaFine Black. I want to try their black ink, but I haven't gotten it ordered yet. So until I do, I'm going to use this. And I'm coming over as far over this way as I feel it's safe. And I'm going to stamp it right about here. I'm going to hold that just for a minute, let that ink transfer. Gorgeous. I had this to happen the last time I used this stamp. And I think there's a hair on my stamp. But you know what? We can definitely cut another strip. I'm going to clean this stamp really good. Here's my chamois. Well, I had it a minute ago, but oh well, we'll use the Stampin' Scrub. I just want to get this stamp cleaned really good and make sure I don't have any lint on it, because I'm pretty sure that's what caused that little bit of a line there. I think it was I think something was on that stamp. So let's try that again. And this time I'm going to stamp it right here. And see, I didn't get it that time. So let's do that again, and we're going to stamp right here. And I'm going to stamp it just like that, and hope I got it nice and straight. Pretty. Very, very pretty. And again, I'm going to clean it because I don't want to run into those same issues again. let's lay our card over here. I'm going to bring my trimmer back over because I want to cut this sentiment right about there. Let's come up to about here. And come down a little bit more. And we're going to turn it this way and cut it off right about there. Now we're going to do the same thing with finding the center. We're just going to look at it right here on a grid. And we're going to call this the center. We're going to go up about 1/2 inch. Make a dot. And then we're going to cut up to the dot. And then we're going to cut from the corner to the dot. And the same thing over here, from this corner up to the dot. And then we have our banner. It looks like we could take just a hair more off the bottom, but you know what? I'm not. I'm going to leave it like it is. And now let's look at our card, and I think I want to pop this up. I think I want to pop that up about like that. Or do I want this up here? I think I might want this right here. That will leave and show this off down here. And I think I like that. I do want, no, I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to leave it like it is, even though I'm very tempted to whack that just a little bit. It's going to mess up my dovetail. So, let's get some dimensionals. And I think this one we can use the bigger ones. Now I think this makes, and we could put down here to you. Let's see if I have a to you. And we do. Right here in this happy hooray to you, we can do happy birthday and do time to celebrate. That would be cute and very masculine. So let's do that one, time to celebrate. And remember, I'm trying my best to keep this as masculine as we possibly can. So I'm going to get that nice and straight right here on my grid. That's the secret behind getting stamps to stamp straight. You got to get them on your block straight. And we get this really nice and straight, and I'm going to go down right about here. perfect. Alright, the last thing that we need to do is to put our insides in. And I think I'm going to stamp inside. I made you a card because you're worth it, and then happy birthday. I think that will be sufficient. And we'll grab this one right here. We already have the happy birthday. So I'm going to light this one up first. And grab the ink again. Just stamp that down. And I'll grab this one. And again, I'm going to get this nice and even. Pick it up. The good thing about this, you're following through with the same font. And we're going to put this one. Let's see if we can clean that up. Got ink on there somewhere. This is just a little mono sand eraser that I'm using, and what it does, it just sands the top of the paper. So if you get, you make a boo-boo like that, you can pretty much take it off, and that's a good thing. So I'll just touch that again and put that right there. Beautiful. Now we're going to turn this over and we're going to put some Stampin' Seal. Like I said, this is not even the plus, but it is super sticky. And if you go off of the edge of your card or your piece, just take and just kind of rub it back onto itself. It works. And here's our card. And now we're just going to sit this down inside. And what I like to do is I like to take my piece and just put it at an angle, making sure that I'm getting it nice and straight. Once I'm good with it, I'll put that side down and then that side. And it usually works out beautifully. Well, there's our card, y'all. I hope that you enjoyed that. I'm going to see if we can push some of my mess, because I did make a mess. See if we can push everything off to the side. And I'm going to zoom you in. And just let you see how pretty this little card is. It looks very masculine, and I like that. And I think that any guy, even though it has a pretty bird on it, I think any guy that got that would love it. It's simple, but yet if you make this and you make that template, save that template. I'm definitely going to do this, and I think I'm just going to call this two-sided angle card, because it is two-sided, but it's a different angle on each side. I think it turned out really pretty. So let me know in your comments what you think, and I will have all of the products that I used, because everything on here is Stampin' Up except the ink, and that's it. Whisper White. This is from the Plaid. What was that? What was that paper pack called? It is Plaid Tidings, and this is in the new mini catalog, the Christmas catalog. It's gorgeous. If you love plaids, you will find this paper pack irresistible. So go take a look. The stamp sets I used was Hooray to You. Here's a card, and Birds and Branches, and I used the dies with this one called Birds and More. So like I said, all of this is going to be linked and listed throughout, along with all the measurements, and everything will be on the website. And remember, if you place a $50 order before taxes and shipping, use this host code and you will receive a free gift from me. Now the free gifts will not be mailed out until the end of the month, because that's when I'll be able to close out all of my workshop orders, and I need you to use this host code, making sure that you put all your information when you sign into my website. Make sure that you sign in, use your name, your shipping information and everything, so I will have that when I get ready to send out free gifts. I love everyone so much. I hope you have a very blessed day, and until we craft again, God bless and keep you, and remember to always let everything you do and say bring glory to God. He is worthy. Love you all. Bye-bye.